you?
Yes, sir, you are audible. Like, sir, you can talk now. Sanjay sir. Sanjay sir, you are audible. You can talk now.
Am I audible to you?
Yes, 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 yes.
Am I audible to you?
Hello.
Yes,
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 sir.
Shall we start the
yes.
session?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Please,
Please,
Yes.
please.
please.
Yes. Am I audible? Is it clear to you? All of you?
Yes,
Yes, yes.
yes, yes,
The screen is also visible to you?
yes.
Okay, let us start our today's session. Good afternoon and welcome to all of you.
Good afternoon,
I
sir.
would like to welcome and thank to Sri Prahlad Jadhav sir on behalf of our management, Mahatma Education Society and organizing committee of PCACS and all the participants for accepting our invitation. It's my pleasure to introduce Sri Prahlad Jadhav sir. He is presently working as a senior manager at Kaitan. He has completed his studies from University of Mumbai and published more than 25 papers in national and international level. And sir has also bagged many of the awards. And he has organized several webinars for the development of professional fellows. And with this brief introduction, I would like to invite Prahlad sir to continue the session and share his knowledge on IPR to enrich the knowledge of our participants on IPR. Sir, please take over the session.
Thank you so much, Sanjay sir. I am audible to you.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So, first of all, very good evening to one and all because it's already 4 o'clock. I must thanks to Pillai College of Arts, Commerce and Science, Mahatma Gandhi Education Society. My sincere thanks to Dr. Sanjay Munavali, who is the librarian and good friend of mine. I must thanks to Dr. Gajanan Wadekar, principal. Also thanks to Mrs. Deepika Sharma, vice principal. So today's we are going to discuss about Sanjay sir. Just आपका screen stop करिए ना sharing का, so I can start my sharing.
Hello, sir. Yes.
Yeah, you please stop this screen sharing.
Okay.
Just give me 1 minute. I'm starting my.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
No. And please, all of you, mute your video and microphones.
Sanjay sir, my screen is visible to you.
Yes, sir. It's clearly visible to you.
Okay.
Right.
Sorry, it takes
Please.
little. Yes, it takes little bit time for me.
Yes,
So
please
today's
continue.
webinar, yeah, today's webinar's topic is IPR, copyright and plagiarism. Definitely, I'm not going to deep in IPR because IPR is a very vast topic and it will take whole day to cover each and every aspects of the IPR. So we will check how we can cover within 1 hour's time. So it's already 4:10. So do you remember yesterday? Yesterday, 26th April, what was? 26th April, it was celebrated as a World Intellectual Property Day. So many of the organizations celebrated in their organizations in different programs. Even due to this lockdown period, many scientists they stay at home and they celebrate through the messages and different themes. Even many of the universities, colleges, they also discuss a lot of topics on this IPR, and Sanjay sir had decided that we will discuss something on this related to IPR day, and we selected this topic. So in simple terms, what is IPR exactly? See, very simple logic is there. If I am taking a cycle every day to my office, I should lock at this nearby station. For example, if I'm taking my bike daily to office, so I will park near the office, near the railway station and go to office. Then I should lock. Otherwise, it can be taken by the theft. So it is better you should lock. The same thing. It is applicable to your intellectual property. To your intellectual property, it should be locked, and with the help of IPR component, you can lock that intellectual. So we will, in the session, how we will check how we can lock this intellectual with us. So what is the power of IPR? See, this is the power of IPR. The board of directors meeting was there, and the MD of the company was explaining the profits, and in that profits there is a gap, there is a blank, and he informed the other colleagues that unfortunately this is the intellectual he took with him, and when he left, it means that person who is another stakeholder of that company, when he left, all his intellectual property, it means patent, trademark, copyright, anything, with his presence, when he left, he took it with him. So that is the real asset of individual. In this lockdown period, there are a lot of layoffs is going on. Many people are asking people to leave the job. But if you have something called intellectual with you, then definitely they will not allow you to go. They will sustain you, and we should maintain that. We should have that intellectual, and we should show them. So in general, what is the IPR? Many of you from the Maharashtra, so many of the audience had viewed this movie, De Dakka. So at the end of that movie, one of that character who had developed some machinery to reduce the usage of petrol, but he didn't know how to patent. But his friend is very intellectual, and he had patented. So because of that, his patent didn't theft by other persons. So this is called intellectual. It is a very general example. I will go in detail how it can be generalized. See, जिंदगी के साथ जिंदगी के बाद भी, जिंदगी के साथ भी जिंदगी के बाद भी. It means what? जिंदगी के साथ भी जिंदगी के बाद भी. It means what? Anyone from the audience can mute herself and answer the thing. जिंदगी के साथ भी जिंदगी के बाद भी. LIC. इसको लगा डाला तो लाइफ जिंदा डाला. इसको लगा डाला तो लाइफ जिंदा डाला. क्या है? This is called Tata Sky. नहीं, Tata Sky. Tata Sky. If I'm not wrong. दाग अच्छे है.
Serve excel.
Very. हक से मांगो.
Priya Goldmari biscuit.
Yes, excellent, madam. You can take 2 dairy milk from Sanjay Monoli, sir. Okay. So we will go. Why IP is important? See, this is the important. This is the original. And this is the duplicate. That's why IP is important. That's why IP is so important. So what is exactly IP? Why IP is considered as an asset? Actually, if you are a commerce graduate, if you are coming from the banking ground, or if you are coming from the commerce graduate, then asset is divided into 2 types. What are they? That is called tangible asset and intangible asset. Then what is tangible asset? In short term, tangible means physical existence. Value of the assets get depreciated. If I took the car today, after 5 years, the value will be depreciated. Easier to sell off. It can be destroyed by fire and natural calamities. This is called tangible asset. This is called tangible asset. Then what is intangible? Do not have any physical existence. Value of the assets get higher by higher. They are not that easy to tell off. So it is really difficult. We have to search who is interested to take that patent. It can be destroyed by business failure, but it can't be destroyed by the natural calamities. Okay, so what are the best example of intangible assets? Mark, copyright, brand. These are the example of intangible assets. Okay, then what else? What is IP? In short, what is IP? IP is a category of intellectual property that includes intangible creations of the human intellectual. Assets that can be bought, assets that can be sold, assets that can be mortgaged with the bank, mortgage with the competitor, assets that can be exchanged, and assets that can be licensed, So why IP is so important? Why I'm giving so much importance to the IP? This is the reason. Suppose I'll share you the example, live example. A regular engineer had a lunch with former boss, an engineer who had resigned from earlier company, but he continues to had lunch with his former boss. He considered himself a hero for gathering competent intelligence. Information he was giving due to his former boss. He had lose three major bits in 14 months. So this is the IP. This is the way your IP can be theft. So my dear friends, be careful. The another example. Just take this another example. The scientists who are from America, but they are not in America. They are working in different. Who are working in America, but they are not from the American citizenship. They are coming different countries. So what the other countries, they are doing? They are calling them. They are calling them for seminar, for workshop, for conferences, or as a paid consultant and getting their information. What are working with the America? So they think this is the easier way. This is the cheaper way as compared to the R&D. So this is the way IP can be theft. किसी के घर चुराने से IP theft नहीं होता है. So this is the smart way they are thefting the IP. Okay. Then what is the IP and student relationship? Why IP and students are? See, my dear friends, many universities are taking care. Many universities are creating awareness of the IPR in between the students. They are making awareness about the IP in the students. If they are innovating something, so they should register that patent. If they are innovating something, they should register that trademark. So students are the main creator now. To who is the next generation? The students. They are our real assets. So view responsibility, college, university, library, that you should create some awareness about the IPR in the students. No doubt if he's from the management, from commerce background, or from business, he may know. But from other, suppose he's from the arts background, he also should know what is IP and what is the value of the IP. So what is the category of IP? See, basically intellectual property is divided into two types. That is called industrial properties, and the second one is copyright, which is very near to me, which is very near to librarian. Copyright बोलो तो सब आके खड़े हो जाते हैं. Copyright बोले तो सब डर जाते हैं. So which is very near to us. For a librarian, for a teaching community, for a student community, copyright is very near to them. Okay. Then we will check what is industrial properties. My dear friends, industrial property is nothing. It's an industrial design. It's a patent. It is a trademark. It is a trade secret or geographical indication. You know patent, you know trademark. I will give best example of geographical indication. Rasgulla, Kolhapuri chappal. These are the best example of GI. So, why we are talking about the IP? And is there any regulations? Is there any statutory body? Yes, there was in 1883. The Paris Convention had created for the protection of IP in 1883. Then in 1886, Berne Convention came into existence for the protection of literary and artistic works. Literary and artistic works are related to copyright, but both the conventions are administered by the WIPO. For us, if there is some changes, UGC will come up with the regulations, with the notification. AICT will come up with the regulation, with the notification. So for the betterment of IP, there is a statutory body called WIPO, and it is at the world level. So what WIPO do? It was established in 1970. It's encourage activities of intellectual research. Then it's promote protection of IP. Throughout the world. Why to promote? Everyone knows. Then why to promote? First, for the progress and well-being of the humanity. The first reason is for the progress and well-being of the humanity. The second reason, legal protection of that new creator. There be a legal protection of new creator. And the third reason, the promotion and protection of intellectual property. So these are the three main reasons to promote IP. So what are the 3 points which is very important in the IPR? Business management, R&D management, and intellectual property right management. These are the three angle points. Which is very much important in the IPR to earn the business, for R&D, and for intellectual property management. So we had covered the first part, that is called IPR. But I'm not touching patent, I'm not touching trademark, because it will take all day. So we will just check the second one, the important thing for us, that is called copyright. In exam, if I'm copying something, my teacher will ask me, don't copy. My instructor will ask me, don't copy. So that is called copyright. So we'll check how it is. These symbols resemble, that is, it indicates it's a copyright. These symbols indicate it is a copyright. So a very short story to you. An artist decides to make a short film. He has a good story, made the film. The film is based on Indian swag. So he added a song, Shauk Se Karenge Sabka Swagat. So when he added and when he uploading the film, he got a notice. So why you cannot upload as the added song which is copyrighted, because that song is already having the copyrighted. So what is copyright? Intellectual property. It is exclusive right for literary, musical, and other artistic work. Copyright provides a legal framework for the protection of traditional beneficiary of copyright. Who are they? Individual author, composer, or artist. Moreover, also for the investment required for the creation of work by major culture and other industries. So that's why copyright is very important. Work which can be copyrighted. What type of work which can be copyrighted? What type of work? Literary work, computer program, artistic work, cinematographic film, dramatic work, musical record work, sound recording. So we will check one by one how it can be protected and how much time it is protected, how long period it is protected. So for literary work, the best example is school textbook, dictionaries, novels, newspaper article, computer program, and databases. In this set of example, judgment or order, I want to say judgment or order, the court's order and judgment is exempted. Head notes, there is a head notes in judgment and order, they're protected, but the whole judgment is exempted. Similarly, commentaries of the act also protected. So who is the writer? What is the term? Lifetime of author plus 60 years. Lifetime of author plus 60 years. So the next, there is some disturbance. So the next example from this, dramatic work. What is dramatic work? Drama, play, any piece of narration, entertainment in dumb show, choreographic, etc. Excludes cinematographic film.
1 second. Raj sir.
Yes.
Your voice is not clear to everyone, sir. So please, will you make some changes?
Just check. I'm audible now.
Hello, just check everyone. Sir is audible to you?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Now it's clear. Please
Okay,
continue.
sorry
sir,
for that.
please. It's
Yes.
okay.
So it excludes cinematographic frame. So who is the owner? Creator of the work. Who create that work? It is the owner. Then what is the term of copyright? Lifetime of author plus 60 years. Lifetime of author plus 60 years. So what is the third example from this category? That is called musical work. Means a work consisting of music and includes any graphical notation of such work. The song is not a musical work. Then who is the author? Creator. And what is the term of copyright? Lifetime of author plus 60 years. Lifetime of author plus 60 years. What is the next example? Yes, that is called artist. That is called artistic work. So what is the artistic work? We'll check. A painting, sculpture, diagram, map, chart, or plan. Work of architecture means any building or structure having an artistic character or design or any model or such building or structure. Modern furniture is not an artistic work, it is a design. Then who is the author? Artist of the work. In case of photograph, it is the photographer. Term of copyright, lifetime of author plus 60 years. In case of photograph, it is 60 years from the year subsequent to the year of publication of the photograph. So then what is the next in this category? That is called sound recording. That is called sound recording. That is called sound recording. Means recording of sound on any medium. The producer of the work. Term of the copyright 60 years from the year of subsequent to the year of publication of the sound recording. So all these are in the copyright framework. Is there anything remaining? Yes, there is something remaining, and that's called cinematographic film. Films, animation, video films. Who is the author? Producer. What is the term? 60 years from the year subsequent to the year of publication of the film. Is there anything remaining? Yes. Broadcasting now. Broadcasting means communication to the public by wireless diffusion or by wires or more forms of signs, sounds or visual images. Broadcasting organization is the author and the term is 25 years. Anything remaining? I guess last thing is remaining. That is performer right. That is called performer right. Performance of actor, musician, juggler, acrobat or the person delivering the lecture, snake charmer and dancer. Who is the author? Performer of the work, and the term is 50 years from the year of performance. 50 years from the year of performance. Who is the owner of the copyright? Basically, who is the owner of the copyright? Generally, owner is the author of the work, writer of the work, composer of the work, artist of the work, producer of the work, performer of the work. Then what rights? What rights they have for copyright holder? What right they have? They had two types of rights. They are called moral rights and economic rights. What is moral right? Moral right, it means to claim authorship, to restrain or claim damages. Then what is economic right? To reproduce the work, to issue copies, to make any adaptation or to translate the work. This is the economic right. So when it is infringed, anytime it says it is infringed. So when it is infringed, any unauthorized use of the work without permission of the owner of the work. It includes sale, hire, offer to sell, distribute copy for commercial purpose, exhibit in public, import into India any infringing copy. So this is the way anyone can infringe the copyright. So how to avoid? How you can avoid? There are few innovative ways to avoid overstating the boundary. That is public domain work. That is unlicensed material or material released under Creative Commons. Use those material which is under public domain, and use those material which is copyright but under fair use. You can use it. Okay. Then what ahead? To maintain all this, copyright rights protection, Indian government had some act, and that act known as Indian Copyright Act 1957. It is the oldest extant, and prior to that, later to that, it is amended near about 5 times. It is amended near about 5 times. In 1983, it is amended for the basically for broadcasting technology and reprographic technology. In 1984, it is amended for technology like printing. In 1994, it is amended for piracy of medical textbook. And in 1999, it is amended for the proposed trade aspect. But my dear friends, in 2012 is amended again, and this is called as Brahmastra for the researcher, for the student, for the teacher, for the librarian. Yes, 2012 Amendment Act is very good for all the stakeholders who are in the education domain, who are in the research domain. So we will check what are the welcome changes in the 2012 amendment. It was passed on 8 June 2012. Copyright Amendment Act 2012 is significant in terms of challenges posed by internet. So what are the welcome changes? Yes, they had introduced commercial rental. Yes, in section 2, after clause F, they had introduced FA and called commercial rental. It means you can rent, lease, or lending of a lawfully acquired copy of a computer program, sound recording, visual recording. That's why media library came into existence. Earlier days, when we are, when we are in the VCR mode, we are taking tapes, we are taking video tapes from the vendor on a rental, and we are viewing the films. So from that onward, they are thinking how we can do. So they had come up with this commercial rental. Yes, my dear friend, one of the important Brahmastra for us, that is called fair use. It was reintroduced and re-amended in 2012. These are popularly known as fair use clause. Literary, dramatic, musical, and artistic works covers. Now it covers all works except, earlier it was covered only for literary, dramatic, musical, artistic, but now after 2012 it covers all except software. Copies of songs and films for research to use film clips in classroom, etc. For example, suppose I want to use a film clip, Chak De India 70 minute hai aapke paas, 70 minute. If I want to use that clip here, it is actually right under fair use clause after 2012. So what is fair use clause in general context? A fair dealing with any work not being a computer program for the purpose of research, for the purpose of criticism or review, or for the purpose of reporting of current events and current affairs. Storing of any work in any electronic medium for the purpose mentioned in this clause. So where fair use digital work? Yes, an electronic transmission or communication. Subsection 1, clause B. Electronic link, access or integration in subsection 1, clause C. For example, if I'm giving my users an electronic link, it is covered under fair use. It is covered under fair use. Okay. Then in 2012, they also come up with notice and takedown procedure. Suppose if I have uploaded something which is copyright material, and if there is no complaint from the owner, then it is okay. If I receive authority issue any complaint, that I should take down that content from that portal, from website, from that blog. So this is the new provision they had introduced in the Copyright Amendment Act 2012. It means they are giving you some time period to please, there is a notice and take down that content from your portal. Okay. Then for the judicial proceedings, yes, my dear friend, I had already told you it is exempted. For the reproduction of any work for the purpose of judicial policing and report of the digital, it is exempted under fair use. Education institutes activities, subsection clause J.
Prahlad sir.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Again, voice ka problem.
Hello. Hello, Prahlad sir.
Voice ka problem hai.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
No, voice is clear.
Hello.
हाँ बोलो सर, क्या बात है? My voice is not clear.
No, yes sir. Again, voice problem is there something. Just please, and please everyone mute your microphone and videos.
Your voice is very much clear. No
Very
problem
clear,
about voice.
very clear.
Very
Yeah.
clear.
We can hear you very
And
clearly.
those who are getting difficulty, please switch up your microphone and videos. Okay.
Should I continue?
No, continue, sir. Prahlad sir, please continue.
Okay.
Carry.
So performance in the course
Yes,
of
sir.
the
Please continue.
the performance in the course of the activities of an education institute. If you are doing something in your education, any performance, it is exempted under fair use clause. Okay. What other things covered in the fair use? What other things covered in the fair use? That is digitization of library. Digitization, digitization of library. Digitization of library. Public library to store any electronic copy of a work if it already has a physical copy of the work. Storage shall be only for preservation. This is very important for the librarians. Public library to store any electronic copy of a work if it already has a physical copy of the work. The storage shall be for preservation only. Then technical drawing. Yes, engineering of mechanical devices. Subsection 1 clause W. Any technical drawings are exempted. Then three-dimensional objects. This is related to engineering drawings. So they are technical drawings are exempted under the fair use clause. Of course, my dear friends, in fair use clause, they also cover the special users, the disabled people. New clause inserted. ZB has been added, section 52(1). It provides adaptation, reproduction in any accessible format to facilitate person with disability. This right is available to any person, organization working for the benefit of the person with disability. My dear friends, India had amended this act in 2012, and this provision for the specially users they had made. I'm very proud. India is ahead in terms of world. WIPO had got treaty in 2013, but India had made this welcome changes in 2012. So I'm really proud of India. So what next? See, this is the chart. I am not sure whether this chart is updated or not, but from the internet, from one of the research paper, I got this chart. In this, they had mentioned how fair use clause is applicable for a chapter in a book, for a newspaper, for a short story, then for a poem, for artwork, for chart, diagram, and for motion media, for music, for broadcast media. So this is the clear chart they had mentioned how much you can copy under fair use and how much you can't copy. So I will be sharing the presentation. From that you can take this. But please, before using this, have research on that, and then only you can use. Okay. So what else in the 2012 amendment? There is a new section inserted, 31B, and it is a compulsory license in work for the benefit of the disabled person. For the benefit of disabled person, there should be compulsory license. Okay. And actually 2012 amendment is very much towards the digital copyright. Yes, they had inserted two new section, 65B. One is remove all alters any right management information without authority. This is called DRM. Electronic right management information has been removed or altered without authority shall be punishable. Suppose if I got a tape of a serial, and if I alter that thing, it means I had done the infringement. We should take the permission from the creator. This is specifically for digital content. This section, this section 65B is specifically for digital content. So if there is some welcome changes, then what are the worrisome? What is the problematic changes? It is brought in 2012. There are some. What are they? The term of the copyright for photograph nearly doubled. Photograph का जो term था उसको double कर दिया है. We don't know where is that photograph, whether he's live or not. So this type of difficulties are getting. Then the missed opportunity. They had not created any fair dealing guidelines. They had not provided any fair dealing guidelines. Then the copyright term for all the material. Duration of all copyrights are above the minimum required by the international obligation. If we are comparing to the international, it is double. So the term period in India, it is double as compared to the international level. Okay. Is there anything, whether we miss anything, other opportunity? Yes, we had, that is called, they had not clear-cut given guideline regarding the education exceptions. What I can exempt in the education domain, what I can exempt in my academic domain, what I can exempt in the research domain. Communication to the public. Yes, they had not communicated to the public properly. Then internet intermediary, they had not taken consideration intermediary who are working for the internet. So these are the missed opportunity. Is there anything else? I guess yes. They had left user and small creators. For example, they had not invited libraries or not a single librarian invited for the discussion of the Amendment Act 2012. So these all are worrisome missed opportunity from 2012 Amendment Act of Copyright. So what are the plus point? Why I am saying India is proud? India is proud. This is the reason India is proud. WIPO had got removing barriers to literacy. They had signed the treaty called Marquess VIP Treaty, and the treaty has signed in the 27 June 2013, 75 WIPO countries, and it was held in Marco. That's why the treaty is Marquess VIP Treaty. India is the first. I am proud to say India is the first country who had ratified Marquess Treaty, and it approved on June 30, 2014. India Copyright Amendment Act is in coordination with the Marquess Treaty. Indian Copyright Act. So, what is the current position of this treaty? Contracting parties, 61 parties, till date, 61 parties. These are the data updated till 5th December 2019. You can go on the WIPO website and check this. So, jokes apart, stealing from one person is called plagiarism, but stealing from many is called research. This is a joke, so please take it as a joke. So we will start about the plagiarism, something. What is that? How I can explain that thing in a story format. Authors, the first part. Authors attempt to steal a cat. He is caught and learns a valuable lesson. A and B are very good friends. So A steal the cat of B and he caught. So B learn an important lesson. You can't just take somebody's cat without asking for the permission. You must take the permission, then only you can take. Okay. The second part. B lies about the true ownership of the cat. B lies about the true ownership of the cat. Lesson. Tell the truth of the people to the people. You should inform the truth to the people. You should inform truth to the people. The third lesson, if I'm not wrong, yes, what he had learned and shared to the world. It's okay. You can borrow other people's words, pictures, or story as long as ask first and get permission. Give due credit to the person from whom you are borrowing. If it is not, then your stuff you shouldn't tell people that it is yours. So what is plagiarism, my dear friend? It is the act of using another person's idea or expression in your writing without giving credit to the source. Plagiarism is copying information and not giving author's credit. In simple terms, plagiarism is the act of presenting another work or idea as your own. So what is the exact definition? What is the exact definition?
हाँ पापा दूर
Plagiarism.
क्या कर रहे पापा?
Mr. Pratik Prohit, your voice is disturbing. Mr. Pratik Prohit. The act of using another person's words or ideas without giving credit to that person. This definition is according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary. The another definition is plagiarism is a specific form of cheating and is generally defined as a presenting someone else's work as your own. And it is defined in the Pearl and Shield 2013, page number 1. So what did you know about the plagiarism? The word plagiarism comes from the Latin. Plagiaris means kidnapper. Plagiaris means kidnapper. In simple term, what is plagiarism? In simple term, what is plagiarism? Using published or unpublished material or ideas without acknowledging original is known as plagiarism. In academic, it is termed as an academic offense. In academic, it is termed as an academic offense. So plagiarism takes many forms, including reusing your own work without acknowledgement. That is also called self-plagiarism. That is also called self-plagiarism. So why it is important? Because plagiarism is a theft. Because plagiarism is a cheating. Because plagiarism may result you receiving a failing grade or 0. That's why it is very important. So what consider plagiarism? Presenting another person's work with your own, using words and ideas without credit, not using quotation marks, making up your or giving incorrect information about the cited work, copying such large amount of ideas words that the majority is not yours. This is called as a plagiarism. So it can be done by two ways, intentionally or unintentionally. What is intentionally? Copying friends' work, buying or borrowing, cutting and pasting, borrowing without documentation, web publishing without permission of creators. What is unintentional? Unintentional is careless paraphrasing, poor documentation, quoting excessively, failure to use your own voice. Plagiarism can also be done deliberately and accidental. Rewriting from the books or articles, copying and pasting, buying, not knowing when and how to cite, not knowing how to paraphrase, not knowing what common knowledge, recycling an old paper. So these are all deliberately and accidental plagiarism. So what excuse? What excuse generally people, generally students give to their teachers, to their guide, to their parents? See, this is the thing. This is the thing. My teacher expects too much. My teachers expect too much.
प्लॅगरिझमचं मला ऐकायचं होतं.
Shraddha Sawant, please concentrate. I have got to get into a certain college. This is the excuse which students are giving. This is the excuse students are giving. Then I was too busy to write that paper. Job, big game, too much homework. What another reasons? My parents expect A plus. It's okay. It's okay. If I don't get, मैं चोरी कर लेता हूं, अगर नहीं पकड़ा गया तो चल जाएगा. These are the excuses are there. What else? अरे बाबा सब करते, मैं भी कर रहा हूं, उसमें क्या है? कोई और excuse है? नहीं है. So we will check one by one. What are the types of plagiarism? Clone, submitting another's work. This is called clone plagiarism. As you know, Control C and Control V, that is called Control Copy, Control Paste. Then find and replace with the synonyms. Find and replace with the synonyms. Other things, remix. Remix का जमाना है. 10 गाने को मिला के एक गाना बना रहा है, वैसे मैं 10 पेपर को मिला के एक पेपर बना रहा हूँ. That is called remix. Recycle. 10 पेपर पहले लिख चुका हूँ, उसको मिक्स करके मेरा नया पेपर बना रहा हूँ. Recycle. Hybrid. Combining. Combining perfectly cited source without copied passage without citation. This is called hybrid. This is called hybrid. Is anything remaining? Yes. Mashup. Mixes copy material from multiple sources. Then 404 error. It is very common in computer. Include citation. Include citation, which is non-existent. Then aggregator. Proper citation. Proper citation is there, but the paper contains almost no original work. Then retweet includes proper citation, but relies too closely on the text original wording or structure. कुछ बचा है? नहीं, कुछ नहीं बचा है. So why? Why do people do it? Because of ignorance, because of lack of knowledge, ambitions, pressure from the seniors. Then publish or perish system is there in academic. Faster, chances of getting caught or action taken is slim. That's why people do all these things. बहुत जल्दी, after a long time, UGC got into action and they had come up with the UGC regulation. तब तक बहुत सारे डॉक्टरेट हो चुके थे, तब तक बहुत सारे लोगों ने पेपर पब्लिश कर चुके थे. तभी UGC को याद आया, we have to something. And then in 2018, they had come up with UGC promotion of academic integrity and prevention of plagiarism in higher education institution regulation 2018. This regulation notified in the official gazette 31st July 2018. So we'll check what is the exactly objective of the guideline is to create awareness and prevention, establish an institutional mechanism, setting up a system for catching plagiarism. They had defined the definition of plagiarism has been defined. Plagiarism means practice of taking someone else's work or idea and passing them as own. किसी और का लेके हमको खुद का बताना है. That is in their definition. So scope of the guideline restricted to HEI, that is higher education institution, universities, any institute that has been declared by the parliament, or any other constituted unit which such institute provide education after 12 years of schooling, which provide degree or diploma. So if I ask you, what is actually applicable in that regulation as a script? Thesis, study, project work, assignment, dissertation, and any other such work submitted for assessment, opinion leading to the award of degree or publication by student or faculty or staff of an institute of higher education. So this is called script according to the regulation. The guideline also provided that exam script, the exam paper scripts are exempted. Exam paper scripts are exempted. So what is the duty of HEI, Higher Education Institutes? To provide, to establish a mechanism to spread awareness, to hold sanitization seminars for students, faculty and other members just like this. Then the HEI must put academic ethics in the coursework for the undergraduate, postgraduate and master degree. They must also include research and publication ethics for coursework of PhD and MPhil scholar. The HEI also provide training for using plagiarism detection technology. They also establish SC for the detection of plagiarism. So how to avoid? What are the methods? There are some methods which is they had mentioned in this. So implementation of mechanism, providing an undertaking, then give access to the plagiarism detection tool. Institution will come up with the plagiarism policy. Yes, every institute should come up with a plagiarism policy. A supervisor will provide a certificate. If I am doing PhD, if I am writing paper, the supervisor should provide a certificate. Soft copy of the dissertation and thesis should be submitted to the repository which is built by the MHRD, that is called Shodhganga. And institute will set up an online repository for the dissertation thesis paper. So what is exempted? Exactly exempted in the UGC. Quoted work, all references, table of work, content, preface, acknowledgement and bibliography, seminal content which is minor, standard equation and symbol and generic terms. So what is the regulation in terms of tolerance? Tolerance of plagiarism has been divided into two in section 8 and 9. First one is zero tolerance. Yes, under this criteria, under this area, it is zero tolerance, where hypothesis, recommendations, abstract, summary, conclusion, results and observation. Here they will consider zero tolerance. Then tolerance area in other area, tolerance in other area, that's up to 10% it is excluded. Up to 10% to 40% it will be termed as a level 1. And from up to 40% to 60% it will be termed as a level 2. And above 60% it will be termed as a level 3. So how you can detect? Yeah, in any member of the academic community suspect with appropriate proof that case of plagiarism has happened in any document, he or shall report to the Department Academic of Integrity Panel. They should report. Then, upon receipt of such complaint, DAIP shall investigate the matter and submit its recommendation to the AIIP, Educational Academic Integrity Panel. The authorities from HEI can also take sumo notice to an act and plagiarism and initiate proceedings. Similarly, proceedings can also be initiated by the HEI on the basis of findings. All such cases will be investigated by the IAIP. So what are the penalties? If the regulation is there, कोई कायदा है, कोई कानून है, उसका जुर्माना भी भरना पड़ेगा आप लोगों को. What are they? For PhD student, up to 10% no penalty. For faculty, up to 10% no penalty. For PhD student, up to from 10% to 40% revision of script within 6 months. For faculty, from 10 to 40%, he has to withdraw the manuscript. For student, 40% to 60% can't submit the revised script for 1 year. 40 to 60% can't submit the revised script for 1 year for the PhD student. In case of faculty, no supervision power for 2 years. No supervision power for 2 years. And in case of faculty, over 60%, sorry, PhD student, cancellation of registration. In terms of faculty, no supervision power for 3 years. So these are the penalties. So there is a higher authority body called Higher Education Institute. So what if that body, some member is caught on the plagiarism? That suppose the head of HEI is accused of plagiarism, then the guideline has provided that appropriate action shall be taken by the concerned authority. So how to avoid? Quote and cite phrases, sentence and paragraph quote and cite statistics. Whenever you paraphrase or summarize, give credit to the original author. In this way, you can avoid. What are the three strategies you can avoid plagiarism? Quoting, paraphrasing, summarizing. This quoting you have to quote, then you can avoid plagiarism. You have to paraphrase, but you should give due credit to the original author. And the last one is summarizing. You have to summarize. So is there any difference between copyright and plagiarism? Copyright is a legal term. Plagiarism is not a legal term. Copyright is a civil crime. Plagiarism is an academic crime. It is unauthorized use of someone else's creative work, claiming or appearing to claims owners of someone else's creative work. Definitely, there is monetary damages in copyright infringement. There is no monetary damage, but punishable by the government, but maybe by academic sanctions. So this is the exact difference. So recently on 20th April 2020, UGC come up with a notice, and the notice is regarding self-plagiarism. If you are not giving due and full citation of the original for this purpose, republishing, publishing, small executed work, using data already used, breaking of long and larger studies, paraphrasing, this all can be considered as self-plagiarism. This all can be considered as self-plagiarism. So we will just check what is plagiarism and what is not copyright. So in first case, plagiarism, but not copyright infringement. A few copy of the few sentence word by word from original source you report, but you do not cite. It means it is a plagiarism. But it is not copyright infringement. How? It is not copyright infringement. How? Because the work is already expired the copyright. That's why it is not copyright. So what is second? Copyright infringement, not plagiarism. Copyright infringement, but not plagiarism. We'll check what is that exactly. You create a website, provide information to the public on an important topic to make your material more engaging. You search the internet for decorative funny images. Include at least one image on a heavy page. You are careful to cite the sources. You have quoted the sources. This is not plagiarism, but for each images you had cited, but this is copyright. Why? That images are from the copyright images. So this is not plagiarism, but this is copyright. So next example, copyright and plagiarism infringement. In that case, both are infringed. How? You post a recent published short story by favorite author to your blog and claim that it is your wrote yourself. This is plagiarism because you're using someone else's work without giving credit. Again, it is copyright infringement because it is reproducing and distributing copies. You are reproducing and distributing this. So the other case, copyright is not infringed. For example, you had used some words, you had given proper citation. It's okay, you are not plagiarized. And the same word which you had used, it is already open from the copyright, and you had used for the fair use clause. Then again, it is not infringement of the copyright. So general question, whenever I get general question, what is, do I cite, do I have cite everything? Except when you use your own words, when the fact used in common language, except what makes it common knowledge, if you can same information in at least 3 different sources, you don't have to cite. You don't have to cite. There are some landmark judgments which you may aware. So I will discuss 1 or 2 from them that are a 3 publisher. Very landmark judgment was published in University of Delhi. 3 published claim a copyright on the Xerox vendor and the Delhi University. They are selling coursework from costly textbook, and they caught, and this publisher had filed a copyright infringement case. But after some time, for the betterment of the education, for the betterment of the students, they had withdrawn the case. But actually it was copyright because they are selling the coursework for money. So it was copyright, but it is not from the publisher, they had withdrawn the copyright. Then another, Amazon India. Yes, Amazon India. they had come up with a Apni Dukan campaign, but it is already copyrighted by the Pune businessman Ravi Jain Domain. So they had caught and they have to remove that Apni Dukan. Another, a very important initiative happened in southern state of Tamil Nadu. Sorry, in March 1949. March 1949. Sorry. In March 1949, the government of India, southern state of Tamil Nadu, acquired the word of India's most celebrable poet. In the world, yes, first time in the world, the copyright of a writer had put his writing in the public domain. It's already over. The government had taken all the work of that famous Shelly Indians and keep it in the public domain. These are some of the important and landmark judgments. There are some famous writers who died. So what about their copyright? Trust, Gandhi's writing is held in trust and lapsed in 2009. Till that time, the copyright is held by the trust. Sonia Gandhi holds all copyright material of Nehru until 2024. Publisher had free access to the Nobel Prize winning poet Rabindranath Tagore works only after 1992. You may aware there was a very famous case, monkey selfie. Photographer David Selter has won his legal battle over that monkey selfie. He had taken, but some of the media had used that photograph. So they are claiming that it is not your copyright, that is the monkey copyright. But the animals can't do the copyright. So they had settled that case out of the court and they had given 30% of their profit to the Animal Welfare Development Fund. This is the jokes for you, my dear friend. There is a beggar. The beggar is singing a song and getting money from the others. That person, that other person say, first day my share of royalty. It means you have to be very careful in terms of using another content. So there are some policy which are created by the Indian government. In 12th May 2006, India had adopted IPR policy. India had adopted IPR policy, which is very useful for strengthening of institutional mechanism, clearing the backlog, increase in filings, IP process, creating of awareness, IPR in school syllabus, technology and innovation support center, global innovation index, and IPR enforcement kit. Then government had requested that IPR cell should be created in the institutes, and till now it has created 41 IPR cell in 41 universities. So even college can also create IPR cell, right? So this is the intellectual property and how you can protect it, from name, logo, slogan, trademark, literary, artistic books, film, copyright, invention by mankind, patent, the production of goods to a particular region, geographical indication. Then how it can be said, know what you have got, know where you have IP, write your IP, label valuable IP, know your tools to protect IP, take a big picture view, think globally. So I want to conclude to you, there's 3 steps are there, 3 tips are there to protect. Establish a wide campus fair use policy. Read and negotiate license for digital content. Educate your campuses. My approach to you, suggested approach, message, inform what is copyright, what is IPR to your faculty, to your student. Focus on availability. What is available? Make use of them instead of copying others. Teach about IPR in classroom. Walk through example from that discipline. So if there is any question, I will happy to take. Sanjay sir, any questions from the audience?
Hello.
Sanjay sir. I had completed my presentation.
Yes, sir. 3 participants have raised their hand.
Okay. You can mute them so they can ask me the unmute them so they ask me the questions.
Okay, one. Shall I unmute me?
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, Prahlad sir. Rajeshri बोलते.
हाँ बोला मैडम.
As usual, enlightening session होता. Session was very good. Sir, I just want to clarify one thing. In am I audible?
Yes, very much.
Okay, sir. If we do photocopy of some rare books or the books
Right.
which have ceased publication and we keep it for in our library for reference,
Right.
then it will be considered under fair use or any copyright issue will be there?
You're talking about the rare books?
Rare books or sometimes what happens, many books are not in print now. They have ceased their publication. Then we take from other libraries and we put photocopy of the same book in our library.
Right.
We are only giving to users for reference. Then
okay.
Called as fair use only or?
Yes, it is only fair use.
No copyright issue will be there, no?
Yes, you are using for the fair use for the education purpose. And you are also saying that it is not available in the print media.
Yeah.
It is not available in the market. If it is not available in the market and if you are doing for the education purpose, then definitely it is coming under the fair use clause.
Okay, thank you. Just I want to clarify the same thing. Thank you very much, sir.
Welcome, ma'am. The next question. The next question, please.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, good evening, sir. This is Anand Dodumani here.
Anand, sir, please tell me.
The presentation was very fine. How are you, sir?
Good, sir. Good. Tell me.
The presentation was very nice, informative, and I thank you for the same. And I also thank Dr. Sanjay for organizing this seminar. Sir, I have one question.
Tell me
regarding copyright. Okay.
Yes.
While providing library services to the people with visual impairment, students with blindness,
right?
What we do, so we convert the printed versions into the accessible formats like PDF versions and give it to them for the use.
Right.
So whether it is allowed, as per my understanding, it is allowed under a Copyright Act because for the visually challenged person it is permitted. But yes. What my question is, so if the same book is available in alternate format in the market,
yes.
Okay. If a copy of the soft copy of the book or the e-book is available in the market, so
right.
Is it possible for the libraries to convert the printed copy that they have into the soft copy and provide it to the users?
First thing,
when a particular book is not available as an e-book, so we understand that the e-book is not available and we are converting that hard copy into the soft copy and providing to the user. Okay. But
right.
E-copy is available, so is it possible for the libraries to convert the printed version? Because that is a big question.
Very good questions, and I'm very happy to answer these questions. Very much clear on your question that if the copy is already available in the market, then also whether it is copyright infringement or not. You're asking me the question for the special user, right? Special user means blind.
Right.
Not only Indian government, even WIPO with that treaty, Marquess Treaty, they had supported. If that copy is available or not available, if your library is not able to take that copy in the accessible format, but you have the print copy, and for the sake of that special user, you can convert under Copyright Act, under Marquess Treaty, you can convert. But you should be very careful that it shouldn't be used for the commercial.
Okay. Even the copy is available as a e-copy, then also we can provide it.
Yes, sir. For example, my student, my user is in India. He is doing a PhD on a topic which is related to the Australia.
Okay.
Right. And the content he wants, it is available in the Australia library. Right.
Okay.
I can request them, please digitize that copy according to the special users and send it to me under Marquess VIP Treaty.
Okay.
Without any cost, they will send. Yeah, without any cost, they will send you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. That was the
Welcome.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Sanjay sir?
Hello, anybody want to ask questions? Hello,
No, sir.
am I audible to you? Is there any questions from participant side?
No, no.
No? Hello?
No,
No,
sir.
no questions, no?
No, no.
No, sir, no questions.
Okay. Later we will share PPT and video also.
Correct,
Let
sir.
me thanks from Mr. Prahlad sir on behalf of our participants and our management. And I hope all of you have enjoyed. And sir, and IPR is a very vast subject. It's very difficult to cover from anybody within 1 or 2 hours. And
Thank you very much for allowing us to participate in such a wonderful meeting and wonderful topic.
once
Very
again, I would
informative,
like
sir.
once again I would like to thank everyone, and thank you, Prahlad sir. Thanks a lot.
You're
Bye.
welcome, sir. You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Hello. Hello.